My handwriting's bad. My sources are in green back here. On the evening of August 1st, 2007, a bridge over the Mississippi River on I-35 West near downtown Minneapolis was carrying hundreds of passengers going home in rush hour traffic. The traffic was further slowed down by construction that was going on the bridge. Without notice, the bridge collapses, taking 111 vehicles with it, killing 13 people and injuring 145 more. It's an article in October 2020's Minnesota Issues Resource Guide. On March 15th, 2018, a pedestrian bridge fell to the ground at Florida International College, killing 6 people and injuring 10 others. The unfinished 950-ton bridge was collapsed into the street below, crushing cars that had been waiting at a red light. It's an article dated October 12, 2021, Miami Herald. We see this happening on a more frequent basis in the news here in the United States. Bridges, roads, and structures failing, leaving people injured or dead. Who will it be next? Could it be me? Could it be you? We are all at risk when our systems of checks and balances fails to protect the very people it was intended to serve. There is now a bill in Congress called the Infrastructure Investment Jobs Act that is intended to address our country's aging infrastructure. It includes measures to update our aging highways and roadways, address safety concerns caused by climate change, and implement environmentally friendly energy resources. By doing this, it's predicted to create millions of jobs, which will stimulate a portion of the economy hit hardest by COVID, which is our manufacturing and construction sector. Article dated October 1st, 2021, New York Times. 1 in 5 miles of our roadways and 45,000 bridges are in poor condition. The American Society of Civil Engineers rates us at a C-, with 43% of our roads and highways in poor or mediocre condition. Bridges in poor condition pose heightened challenges in rural communities, which often rely on the one bridge for the passage of emergency vehicles. Article dated July 28, 2021, whitehouse.gov. There will be $12.5 billion set aside for bridge investments and updates to assist state, local, and federal agencies in rehabilitating or replacing our bridges on our roadways. In addition, there's $3 billion allocated for the Federal Aid Highways Program and includes fundings for roads and major projects on our highways. There's a portion allocated for reconnecting our communities. In the past, transportation investments divided communities and left out people most in need of affordable transportation options. Significant portions of interstates were built in Black communities. There will be $100 billion in grants available that will reconnect communities divided by transportation infrastructures. The program will fund planning, design, demolition, and reconstruction of street grid, parks, and other infrastructures to restore community connectivity. There's $1 billion for grants available for adding sidewalks, bikeways, and pedestrian trails, which helps us get to a more environmentally friendly environment as well by reducing emissions. There's also a clause I thought was interesting. There's $5 million set aside for projects to reduce wildlife vehicle collisions. They anticipate this will add roughly 2 million jobs per year for American workers and projects that will last over 10 years. Those infrastructure projects could boost the economy in rural areas where it's already difficult to find work. There's also a Made in America clause. The bill would require that within 180 days of enacting the bill, iron, steel, and manufactured projects and construction materials used on buildings, projects, roads, and bridges must be produced in the United States. This includes any work on utilities, building construction, transit systems, and water systems. There's $5 billion in grants to eligible entities to carry out activities to make power grids more resilient and reliable in the face of extreme weather or natural disasters. We all remember what happened to Texas this past winter, where their power grid failed due to inclement weather. There's $5 billion to carry out a new electrical vehicle program for states to deploy vehicle charging stations and also to collect data about these electrical vehicles to facilitate data collection, to facilitate access and reliability. There's $6 billion for a new carbon reduction plan aimed to reduce transportation emissions. It includes public transit systems and projects to deploy alternative fuel vehicles. There's $55 billion set aside for clean water initiatives. Some of this includes replacing some of the lead pipes that were used for plumbing, and also to look at the amount of contaminants in our drinking water. It will look at those service lines with priority going to those disadvantaged communities. There's also a portion for new programs to provide financial assistance to improve the safety, reliability, and availability of energy in rural and remote communities to ensure energy generation does not harm the environment. So in conclusion, I've gone over with you some of the specifics measures in the bill that Congress is passing to update our aging infrastructure. I hope you've gained some knowledge about how this critical piece of legislation impacts you and your community, and perhaps going forward you can share some of this with someone you know to help them understand the positive change going on in the United States.